Hello everyone and welcome back to my part 2 analysis for the final part of Attack on Titan. If you haven't watched part 1 yet, I recommend you watch it first. I won't keep you waiting, so let's jump right into the next act, Sinners, from chapter 133, right after Hanji's afterlife scene. You can feel the low energy in the plane, especially after losing such a dear friend. I have seen Levi upset before, but this time it's different. Hanji was his best friend, so you can clearly see he's deeply affected by it. This part is called Sinners because it picks up on the topics the group shared in the famous forest campfire. Everyone on the plane has done something terrible, and by now they can all see things from the other side. First, they have to form some kind of plan of how to stop Eren. Armin won't consider attacking him before they get a chance to speak about everything, but they will still need to consider what to do as plan B. Now, I won't give you any spoilers, but I will point out important issues that will play out in the next part. So first they have the obvious problem. Eren's Titan is huge and mostly a pile of bones, and Levi cleverly mentions that he moves like an insect. I wonder why that is. But anyway, they don't have a way of knowing where Eren is, because now he also has the Warhammer ability. To remind you, the Warhammer can control the Titan from outside of the nape, but here is something important you need to remember. The Warhammer Titan operates like a wired game controller. If you cut the cord, you lose control over whatever you are controlling, so just keep that in mind. Because they don't know where Eren really is, the best option will be for Armin to transform above him and explode, same as in Liberio or Shiganshina. And pay attention, Pieck mentioned it, she witnessed it in Liberio, and that makes Armin face his sins once again. But the weapon that killed so many people she knew could now possibly be their only option. Levi mentions another extremely important thing I was talking about in many videos. Where is Zeke? And if they kill him, will it stop the rumbling? Attack on Titan is very practical about the little details, and so does Levi. What started this was the connection between the two brothers, but Eren still doesn't have royal blood, so that connection must be important. Levi believes that if you take out the one with the royal blood, then Eren can't keep on controlling the rumbling. That way they can avoid killing him. In addition, Armin also says it's logical, so, Armin. But in any case, you can see how Levi is so focused on keeping his promise to Erwin. He gave his life with the promise Levi will kill the beast. That promise burdened Levi for a while, and you can see how serious he is when for the first time ever he asked for his former soldiers to help him. I don't know if you caught this, but Levi has never asked for anything from anyone except for the time with Erwin. And that just shows you how serious Levi is right now. Jean says they will do whatever they must. They all killed people and friends to get there, so they must stop it. If not, it was all for nothing. Jean admits that they did terrible things because they believed they were saving people, and that was exactly how Reiner felt back then. Connie mentions how he killed Daz and Samuel L. Jackson. Yes, his name is literally Samuel L. Jackson, but anyway, people called Connie a traitor. Even though he believed he was doing it for a good cause. He finally understands Reiner, Bert and Annie when he called them traitors back in season 2. Reiner doesn't think he will be able to atone for his sins, but that doesn't mean he shouldn't try. And he tells Connie they should at least save what was left of humanity. Even if they can't make up for their sins, they still have to do everything they can. Jean admits he was just like Reiner. He also became a killer in order to save others, so he had no right judging him. Here, Reiner mentions that Eren told him the same thing, and now he thinks he understands what Eren feels. As a child, Reiner had a dream, and unlike Gabi who wanted to be a soldier and kill the island devils, Reiner simply wanted a family. This is the only reason he worked so hard. He believed once he became a warrior, his dad will come back. But that didn't happen, and his dream of a family was broken. But he was also now stuck as a warrior and couldn't go back. And after they lost Marcel, Reiner reluctantly took the role of a leader, simply because they have gone too far but haven't changed anything yet. So stopping now will mean it was all for nothing, and he didn't want it to end there. His dream was already gone, but now he must go through with it. Just like Eren also lost his dream when he saw the future memories, even before he got to the ocean. That's why he was so sad, like I mentioned in the previous video, because he knew he had to keep on going. And just like Reiner losing his reward of having a family but still moving forward, so did Eren. Like Reiner, he kept doing what he did while knowing his dream was already gone. They were both pushed into a corner where they had to act, and each acted with the intent of saving the people on his side. That's why he feels Eren wants to be stopped, because he believes he feels the same way. Thinking everything through, Armin realizes that Eren could have stopped them at any point with the power of the founder. But why would Eren do that? Reiner says that the burden of killing so many has broken his own spirit, so for Eren it must be even worse after what he's doing. If it was him instead, he would have wanted someone to take this power from him, or at least to stop him for good. That shows us again how Reiner understands Eren, and also his own desire to stop living, which we have seen several times. Mikasa looks at him when she understands Reiner is saying Eren wants them to kill him, but at that moment they all find themselves in the paths. To remind you, this happened before when Eren reached all the aliens. They look for him, shouting into the distance. Armin begs him to stop. He had done enough already. Paradise is saved. No one will ever come near them after this, so he can stop now. Jean knows he is doing it for them. They pushed him to this, but he asks him to stop killing people for their sake. They can figure out another way. Connie apologized for not seeing Eren's side when Sasha died. Back then, Connie thought Eren was laughing. But in reality, it was similar to this moment when Eren realized that nothing has changed and that he can't change anything. Everything will play out as he saw in his memories, and that was his look when he realized that back then. Mikasa tells him she wants to help carry the burden of his sins. They share his sins, and she begs him to not push them away. Please, Eren, come back home. And it's so funny that everyone is trying to sweet talk Eren, but Levi is like, come out now and I will break your face just a little. They all search for him and they suddenly hear his voice. In his grown-up voice, he tells them that the rumbling will not be stopped. He will not leave the island's fate to chance. He will finish what he started. Levi spots young Eren standing in front of the coordinates, and Mikasa, Armin, Jean and Connie start running to him. Notice this is young Eren, very similar to before when we saw him controlling the rumbling, but now his eyes are darkened and he has a more sinister vibe. But the idea is to show you who is in control at the moment, like I showed you in the previous video. As they run, we get an anime original scene of Mikasa running after Eren. This is the second time they put an emphasis on this, and I think I know why. Already working on a video about it and the same music video. They keep running and begging Eren to not move any further and to trust his friends. He left them their power, so he must trust them. They just want to talk to him. Eren continues to speak. To get my freedom, I will take away freedom from the world. While they run, they see the friends they left behind now right in front of them, and they meet up all shocked. Just a reminder of what a wacky place the paths are. Eren continues his speech. I will not take freedom from you. You are all free to protect the world's freedom, just as I am free to move forward. The group watches young Eren now joined with Ymir in front of the coordinates. As long as our ways cross, there is only one thing left to do. Fight. When Armin asks why did he even bring them there to speak, Eren tells him he did that to let them know there is nothing to talk about. If you wish to stop me, you need to make me stop breathing. The group find themselves on the plane again, which they never actually left, of course. Something to pay attention to. You need to remember that if Eren wanted, he could have turned all Eldians in the world into Titans and destroyed countries from within. But like he told his friends, they are free. He didn't control their Titans and he didn't manipulate the Eldians as weapons. With that, he kept the element of equality all around by not using the full extent of his power. Another thing, why did Eren really summon them? He did that to make sure they know he gave them no other choice. To make them not feel blamed for his actions, knowing they did everything they could, so they shouldn't blame themselves. Of course, there are more reasons which are spoilers and we will see them in the next part, but feel free to check my final chapter review if you are interested. But anyway, the group now knows Reiner was probably right about Eren, and that now they have no more options. Levi looks at Armin. What now, Commander? We move to Kiyomi and Annie on the ship, talking about the regrets of their past actions. Why can't humans learn to respect each other before we think of ourselves? Falco comes running. He had a strange dream which he believes are memories from Zeke. To remind you, Falco is a Titan shifter created from the spinal fluid of a royal blood, which makes him pretty unique. We then find out one of the most important powers of the female Titan. She can take over the powers of Titans if she eats part of that Titan. This is the explanation for her crystallization abilities and her scream that summons Titan, which is like a downgraded version of Zeke controlling Titans. In the memory, he saw himself flying in the sky like a bird, which made him believe there might have been a flying beast Titan in the past. and because he was created from Zeke's spinal fluid, his titan also has some similarities to the beast, and he feels he may be able to fly as well. We move to a train heading to Fort Salta, and we meet the Eldians who were able to escape Liberio and hijacked a train, hoping to reach the airships in time. The conflict between Eldians and Marleyans is still present, but to survive they must work together for the first time. This is their only way to survive. The parents of the warriors are all there. You can see how Gabby's parents are just like Gabby, terrified of the island devils. This makes you understand a bit about the environment she was raised in. As the name of the chapter suggested, this part is about the scenes of everyone, and we will touch on that because it has one of the most important speeches in this story. The parents all regret sending their kids to be warriors. They were the ones that destroyed their lives. Their kids gave up on their future in order to secure their parents' futures. This is the opposite of what a parent usually does. This is their sin as their parents, passing hate to their kids and letting them fight their wars, and by that keeping them longer inside the forest, taking away their futures. They then notice all the ships are taking off Fort Salta, and in the distance they see the smoke. The rumbling has finally reached them. They soon find out the ships left to attack Eren, and we then get one of my favorite monologues. And here's where I became a bit emotional, so sorry in advance. If you know me for a while, you know I always end my videos with a specific phrase. In every video I made those 5 years. And that speech is exactly what my catchphrase meant to deliver. The commander informs everyone that this is humanity's last stand. But whatever happens next, they are all responsible for this. The adults. For the same reasons we mentioned before. For taking the future of their kids. But not only that. They spread hate like fire. Every problem the world had, they blamed on the island devils. They took advantage of their hate simply because they could. And they lied to themselves by saying the island is evil to justify the horrible things they did to Eldians. But now their hate has woken that monster that came to deliver the hate back to them. They see Eren as a collective punishment. Some already see it as their fault, their collective fault as humanity. If they survive this day, he vows to remember and never repeat those mistakes again. That is one of the strongest messages of the story, to stop spamming hate and fake news, and try to see the other side, which is just what my catchphrase always tries to promote. Do you think you know the truth because someone told you? That not makes it right, and that's how fake news created hate towards the island. So if you find yourself today hating on your own version of Paradise or Devil Island, stop. Learn from the story, because nothing good will come from sending more hate. And if you think your case is different, always remember that those people fought the same until it was too late. They represent you, me, and everyone else at a point we still can make a change. We as humanity will not experience the rumbling, but I am certain we will face other terrible things very soon if we keep going the way we have. We may not have titans, but we have so much hate. And believe me, I know it from personal experience. So please people, don't add up to all the hate we already have today. This is my personal message to you. Sorry for it being long, but that is something I really feel passionate about, and people aren't addressing it, at least not enough. Going back, Reiner's mom has a little flashback and we see a bittersweet moment, which was mostly bitter, when her son was accepted to the warrior program. She realizes she was never a mother to him. She treated him as a tool of revenge, and loaded him with hate towards the island. And so did Annie's dad. All those parents broke their kids' futures. The same conclusion General Magath came to by the end. The attack is coming, but Eren's Titan has more secret weapons, and we see a Titan transformation, making the ship start the attack. Barrels of fuel dropped on top of the Titans, creating a lot of damage. But from the Titan transformation, the Beast Titan appears on top of Eren's Titan. And it looks a bit weird. And look, he has a wire connected to him. Where did we see that before? The beast seems to create rocks just like the Warhammer create weapons, and soon after, the people on Fort Salta watch the entire fleet destroyed. The commander in charge of the attack apologizes before the kids. They have failed them. The rumbling is coming. And here we get a moment that reminded me of Season 1. A little girl points to the sky. A plane is approaching. The wings of freedom have come once more. And here I have to give some love to Onyan Kupon because he is truly the king, and without him they could have never gotten there. Now remember Flock shooting the fuel tanks? That's why they are almost out of fuel, and the scouts get ready for one of the best entrances in this story. They all jump from the plane, while the beast keeps attacking them and Reiner transforms, taking him out. And look, the wire snapped. I wonder if that's important somehow. Also notice Peak lands with the explosive with her. What a beautiful entrance, but what's more beautiful is what's happening on Fort Salta, when everyone are amazed at how the devils of the island are working with the warriors, all trying to save the world together. This is the moment of change. This is where a few people can see the truth, and for those people, that moment will be a defining one. Especially for the kids, because those who witness this will grow up without hate. They will break the cycle, and those children will finally be able to leave the forest. And that is what the Alliance is fighting for, that shred of hope to fix a broken world and to turn enemies into friends. But will this be enough? Will those people be able to carry on that important message to the rest of the world? That we will see in the final part of Attack on Titan. The episode ends with the group standing on Eren and Armin demanding to know, in what way, Eren, are you free? We then get the beautiful new song, Under the Tree, which featured something very interesting. I am already working on a video about that and it will come out real soon. And thank you all for watching and waiting for the next part of my video, I really appreciate it. So tell me, what did you think about the entire part? I personally loved everything, and from what I can see, the reviews are incredible. So let me know your opinion or if you have any questions, and I will see you all real soon in my next video and even sooner in the comments. And as always, and just what we talked about, always remember to dedicate your heart to all of humanity, inside and outside the walls.